Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Cammie, and I'm joined by Katie, Leah, and Bonnie talking about our one cool advertising things. Bonnie and Katie already talked about misrepresentation and Mary Wells Lawrence, but before we dive back in, let's get to know something random about everybody. So, my question is, what is your favorite and/or funniest ad of all time?
How quickly do I throw Bonnie under the bus? Bonnie said she knew.
So I love the puppies.
Yes, you do.
Kitties are great too, but the puppies are...
But puppies.
Yeah.
So there's this Dentistix commercial
Oh, no.
with the dog dentures.
Oh, God.
And this one dog particular, the way that he stares at you, and then he has doggy dentures.
It's human teeth dogs! Those things are scary, though!
Yeah. Yeah, no, that one freaked me out.
The black and white doggy. He gets me. I start cracking up.
You're like, that's my fandom right there, is that dog
great.
and those dentures.
Close second is the little the pig that goes wee.
Oh, that's the Geico.
Yeah.
Wee all the way home. That one.
Geico wins just the ad race all the time.
It does. Geico does bring it, especially with the random.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they had like one recently that was like a I don't know, smorgasbord of all of their ads like thrown together.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And at the very end is the pig going wee in a golf cart.
It's like a
Oh,
mixtape,
yeah,
basically.
it was the lady that won the contest to be in the ad, and so it had the hump day camel.
Oh.
It was that one,
I
yeah.
don't think I've actually seen the big mashup one.
Yeah.
But I know they've been like vote on your favorite. Like I've seen they'd start doing the caveman one again.
Hump
and
day.
and hump day.
No one likes the hump day.
Exactly.
My
Katie, do you-
favorite. I can do my favorite one because it's actually a Geico one.
Do it. Yes,
Yeah.
there you go. Ties right in.
My favorite one, that is also the funniest one,
Yeah.
is the Antarctic Research Station Geico ad.
Which now runs in front of movies now that we
The
see.
extended version runs in front of movies, and it is the best thing I've ever seen. It's an Antarctic research station, and one person decided that they needed to bring their karaoke machine.
Oh no.
So they are singing I Want It That Way to everyone in the station.
No.
It carries to the speakers. There are people sitting in distraught with one person with their pillow over their heads trying not to listen. And then there's Kevin, who keeps trying to commit suicide by going outside the doors out into the Antarctic air. And it is the best thing. It's, no, Kevin, no!
No, Kevin.
I want it that way. Favorite ad.
That
and
is your
funniest.
favorite ad. I take it. Katie, do you have one?
Well, I'm enjoying all of yours. I feel like I truly have been far removed from advertising because remember there was that period of time where I didn't even have the interwebs or
Right.
the cable.
I know.
So I don't
You
know
went
that
full
much
1904 on
I
us.
did.
You were churning butter. No, you weren't.
So I'm a little behind in the advertising world.
Right.
But I have a favorite, but it was from long ago. Remember when Doritos they were doing the fans can make an ad?
Yes. Yep.
And then it would play during the Super Bowl. So my favorite one, and I believe this was shot here in Indiana.
Oh, is it the
was
Herbert Brothers
snow
one?
globe.
Oh.
Yes, I love that commercial. It just gets my sarcasm and my hatred for life.
Oh, see?
But for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about,
Right. Yes. Explain
there's
the
a
glorious commercial.
vending machine, and tell me if I get it wrong. There's a vending
trying to remember.
machine,
Yeah.
and these two dudes dressed up for work are talking, and one of the dudes has a snow globe, and he shakes it like it's a magic 8-ball,
Right.
and he goes, "Am I going to get a snack from the machine today?" And he turns it over, and he goes, something said, I forget the words. He
Right.
says
I can't
yes,
remember
and then
either.
he just turns and he just throws it at the snack machine, breaks the glass, and then goes over and helps himself to a snack.
Nice.
Yeah,
Isn't-
controlling your own destiny.
Isn't our friend Don Becker also in that? Don Becker
Is
was
he?
in one of my movies. I
Oh,
thought he had like just
yes. I
2
think he
seconds
was.
in that commercial
I think he
or
was
something.
The boss.
Okay, there we go.
We gotta link this, guys. If you're
It
listening
is
to the show, go watch
definitely
it.
available.
It's hysterical. I don't know. Maybe it was those personal connections too, but I was like, this
Yes.
shit is funny.
There is the Yes, exactly. The Indiana Pride. Such
a good one.
I will totally link it in the show notes. The Doritos ad.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember.
What do you think, Leah?
I'm trying to figure out what mine is. Oh no. And now I want to go funny because like all the other, and now I'm like thinking of all of the funny ads. Mm-hmm. This is the one that comes to mind, and I think it's because I reference it the most. It'll date me a little bit more, but okay, when Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade came out, there was a Pepsi tie-in, and the Pepsi tie-in, it's horrible. I think that's why I remember this one and I love this one so much. So they're searching for the Holy Grail, and it's the scene where they're trying the different cups. And in the movie, the bad guy tries the cup and his face basically melts off. And then the knight says, he chose poorly. Well, this is a Pepsi commercial. So help me if it's Coke, but I'm
Crystal Pepsi, though.
It might have been.
Crystal
It might have been for Crystal Pepsi,
yeah.
too, because it is around that time.
So 90s.
But it's the kid trying to navigate through the kitchen, and it's like Indiana Jones style. So, like, there's holes and there's obstacles, and he's trying to get to the fridge, and when he grabs the Pepsi, it's the knight goes, he chose wisely. And for some odd reason, like Josh and I will still say that crap when it comes on to something. We'll be like, he chose poorly or wisely, depending on the situation. I don't know why. It was the mix of a movie and a new commercial that did not make sense, that did not work, but it used movie references. And so,
in a movie line,
like dogs with dentures, it hit me where I lived. It represented me as a person. I use random movie lines to communicate what I want. So I will go with that was my funniest / favorite / irreverent. But Cammie, you have a one cool thing for us, don't you?
It's time for me to stumble over my words as I have pre-written them.
You got this. No worries.
I chose poorly.
I see what you did there, and I like it.
Well, my one cool thing has to do with Nike and the FIFA Women's World Cup.
Yay! 2 things you were obsessed with this summer.
And mainly just the World Cup.
Yeah, mostly, yes.
I watched as much of it as I could over the summer because we do not have cable, so
Yes.
I watched the ones that were just sent over the airwaves.
Right.
So, but during halftime, there was a lot of the same ads over and over again, and one of the few times that I really did not mind was with Nike's ads. There were 3 that played during the World Cup that I would like to share. The first being their Never Stop Winning ad, which is about the U.S. women's team. It starts with their I Believe chant and gives a speech about empowering girls in soccer and in other aspects of life, such as the ending of it, and that will keep fighting not just to make history, but to change it forever. And then ending with their chant, I believe that we will win. This ad did not air until after the U.S. won their 2-0 final against the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. And it was the first ad in the first commercial break after they had won.
It was like they were waiting for it.
They
were just
waited.
Like, the buttons like right there. It's like, and go, we won.
Yeah. Because it talks about their 4th overall win in the ad. It was, I believe that we will win for the 4th time.
Yeah.
And they did, and immediately after they did, they're like, yep, go. Just go.
One thing that I will say that is Nike backing, you know what I mean? The women. And also they're putting their money on the line. They're like, no. We believe in this so much that we want to be the first commercial we want to tie into, and we want to support the women winning. Mm-hmm. But those commercials aren't cheap.
And this was
so
only one of 3 that showed up a lot during that World Cup.
Right,
even
that's one.
Even though it didn't show up until the end.
Yeah.
The second one showed up a bit more frequently and much more before the ending of it.
Right.
And it was their Dream With Us ad. It's narrated by Viola Davis, and it talks about women in sports and their dreams. To be successful within their sport, to show representation within it, and to push for equality in general in sports.
Yeah.
And so the visuals feature girls and women of different sports walking in lines upstairs, onto subway cars, and skateboarding down streets.
That's the one I shared on our social media right after they won. I love that ad.
And it ends with the U.S. women's team going into one of the stadiums with a narration, but the craziest dream of all is one that starts a million more.
Yeah.
I love how actively that features women, too.
Yes.
They're kind of talking about how
and
women
all
are
different
portrayed.
Sports.
Right.
There's baseball girls in there, there's football of the American kind and the rest of the world kind.
Right.
Concussion football and normal football. Just throwing it out there. Just throwing it out there.
That's how she distinguishes the two of them.
Concussion football and rest of the world football.
But it's not about looks. It's about passion and ability and,
Yeah.
you know, taking action and not sitting by the sideline.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
My favorite ad I have saved for last, though, and it is their Dream Further ad, which follows 10-year-old soccer player from California, McKenna Cook, as she is led to the field to stand with the Dutch women's team during the national anthems before one of the World Cup games. Before they get onto the field, Martens of the Dutch team grabs her hand and asks, "Hey, you ready?" Once the anthems end, she grabs her hand and says, "You're not done." Then kicks in Bad Reputation, as McKenna follows Martens as she makes a goal.
Bonnie's like bopping her head. She already knows the Joan Jett song. She's like,
Then we follow McKenna as she goes from team to team, either following the play by holding the players' hands or following on her own. She goes from the England team to Coach Alex Scott, then to Sam Kerr of Australia, before Kerr is given a free kick. She doesn't take the kick and gives it instead to McKenna, who goes to take the kick, and right before she takes it, we realize she was daydreaming, and it's still before the Dutch game with Martens. McKenna turns to her, and this time asks, "Hey, you ready?"
I like it.
And it ends with, "Don't change your dream, change the world." And it played nearly every single ad break. Every single time. It was a great thing to see during the World Cup, and it helped me survive all those ad breaks.
Yeah, because there was a lot of them.
A lot of Volkswagen. A lot of Volkswagen.
One of the main sponsor. You were going to say, Bonnie?
No, I remember I was watching the Women's Cup, and I remember, like, right after they won, they played that ad, and I remember getting on our Discord and being like, advertising month's coming up! Isn't this awesome?
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I was going, I think Cammy's watching it. I wasn't.
And that is why I've braved my fears of actually speaking to people.
You have, and you have been on a podcast to say one cool thing because it was so cool to you.
Nike did a thing.
Yes, exactly.
Nike may do some things, but this was absolutely great.
Yeah. They've been, for me, they've been in an upswing for me, where it's one of those things where it's like, expensive shoes, screw that. But now I'm like, you know what? Does Nike need some money? Do I need some shoes? I might buy some Nike shoes. Because at least they're doing ads with purpose and with a message. And they're also supporting Colin Kaepernick, too. And I'm just like, they're like, screw what other people think. This is who we are supporting. This is who we are as a brand. This is where we draw the line, and they put their money where their mouth is.
Social message, yeah.
They do have some problems, and they are still a footwear company.
Right,
really,
exactly. They are still a business, after all.
They have maternity leave problems. But,
right, and where the shoes are made might be skeptical.
Bangladesh.
Right. But that ad, though, the especially the last one that you were talking about.
My favorite one, yeah.
The grabbing your hand, it's to me, it almost circulates a lot of what we do at like Gals Guide and even our one cool thing, which is come along with us. This is cool. Like, you know what I mean? Just watch what we're doing, be a part of it, follow along.
And I love that girl was actually a soccer player.
Yeah.
That she plays in California. She's on a youth team. And I thought that was great to actually have soccer players throughout that ad. Martens of the Dutch team, Sam Kerr from Australia. I thought it was great that they had them in there, even like the coach Alex Scott.
Yeah.
That she stands with, even though it's a men's game that plays while she's on the sidelines with that coach. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of that representation of all those different players.
Yeah, and so different ways to be a woman within sport too. Which is really, really nice because you're on the field, you're the coach on the sideline.
Sounds like it's also promoting a community too, because you hear about women's sports and men's sports.
Right.
Like they're two different things.
Yeah.
So, very cool.
Absolutely. I dig it. Did you saw the commercials because you were watching the World Cup. Katie, did you see any of these?
I did not.
That is totally fine. That's why I thought, hey, I only saw the one that Bonnie shared with me. And then Cammie, you showed me the rest of them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling all of the feels. They're super empowering. And I think definitely the chants that they always have behind them and the fast pace of the edits and also just the sheer emotion. Like these are gut punching ads that are just like, girl, go get it.
Yeah.
And I love it. Yay! Sweet.
Time to do a close like thing?
I guess so. You want to just James Brown this. You want to hit it and quit. You
Hit
just
it
want
and
to
quit it.
nail it and just go.
My anxiety is best in short bursts. Short bursts. Gotta do it. Gotta hit it and quit it.
See, well, you did fantastic.
Well, thank you. And that wraps it up for this week. Join us next week as our next gal pal shares her one cool thing as Gal's Guide to the Galaxies podcast continues. Thank you for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.